What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. My name's Alex Kaluna, and in today's vid I pretty much just want to give my favorite stores that I went to in Tokyo. So if you guys don't know, I went on a 35-day trip. I vlogged it. It's all right here. Make sure you check it out. And I figured I'd give just a recap video of all the spots that I thought were super sick that you need to check out, and yeah, like pretty much all the places you need to shop. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright y'all, so first things first, I do gotta give an honorable mention shout out, and we're gonna be shouting out the General Research Store located in Nakameguro. And this is a really cool store that just curates a lot of the clothing that has to do with like mountain and hiking, lifestyle type of wear. So as soon as you go in, you'll see that anything with pockets, anything to survive the wildlife, you're gonna find clothing there. It's really nicely curated. The worker there is really nice, and you'll just find a lot of different just like travel type brands. So brands like South to West 8, Mountain Research, Haven. So yeah, so just to show off some things that we were able to find there, like there's this South to West 8 jacket that we did find there. My brother was able to get this Mountain Research sweater with all these pockets and vests. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. And what I personally picked out was like these Haven cargo pocket shorts with the detachable zip. So yeah, pretty much anything for the lifestyle brand they're gonna have there. They even have pots and pans, candles, soap. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's in a really beautiful city, so shout out to them. Also, another honorable mention I want to get is literally any flagship store of a brand that you like. So if you're in Tokyo, let's say you want to check out the Supreme store, definitely just check it out just to see what it's like, because each store in Tokyo and Japan is always designed really nicely and neatly, so it really adds to the experience. So I made sure I check out like pretty much any brand I like that. I check out their flagship store. My favorite, of course, probably being the capital stores. The multiple ones in the BC were all beautifully laid out. The ones in Osaka, just the way the ones in Roppongi, the way they're all like themed and together, it's just fun to just walk through and just see what each brand is about, you know. So if you're there, definitely check out their flagship store. And yeah, first spot. So yeah, Tokyo, it's just filled with a bunch of crazy stores to visit, and the first one that I need to mention is this place called Pat Market Tokyo. When I think of Pat Market Tokyo, I think just the epitome of what makes just clothing cool and shopping in Japan in general, such a vibe. So this store is actually located in Harajuku, and it's actually hidden within like 2 streets. Not the easiest store to find. When you find this spot, you're gonna feel like you found a hidden gems amongst hidden gems, even though it's pretty well known though. But yeah, pretty much this is a store that's gonna carry a bunch of curated items. It's like a thrift of some sorts, but it has everything to appease the people. So if your type of swag is, you're into like the LGB, you're into Dolce & Gabbana, Vintage Diesel, Milk Boy, all those type of brands that kind of fit that aesthetic, there's a whole bottom floor filled with clothing of that sort. And then the coolest part is when you go upstairs, there's a whole section just filled with archive clothing too, if you're interested in that. So they got Old Bape, Old Number 9, we got If 6 Was 9, Undercover, whatever you may find there. So I will say definitely worth a visit. It's definitely worth checking out. The curation is really nice. You're not gonna find another store like it. And yeah, in terms of stuff that I bought there, I did pick up these pants right here. It's from this brand called Griffin. Funny enough, these are pants that I had in my Grailed likes for a while, so it's this like plaid pattern going on there. Got this for like less than $100. And then the next thing I bought there was this little faded wash denim jacket, bomber of some sorts. It got this like wool lining on the shoulder pads. It got these really unique pockets, and here's the back side. And yeah, I also got that at Pat Market Tokyo, so definitely worth checking it out. It seems like they get new items all the time. And yeah. Alright y'all, and for the next 2 stores I'm gonna talk about, these are going to be the classics. These are going to be the spots where you just want to find your normal thrift clothes, you want to maybe find little designer pieces, you want to find women's clothes, just anything that you might be looking for, something cheap and something on the more expensive end. Definitely worth checking out. And of course, I am talking about 2nd Street, the classic. You've probably been to one in the States. There's multiple branches, especially like in SoCal, California, New York, wherever. But yeah, this is definitely gonna be a go-to spot in Japan to check out. One of my favorite things is that we're in Japan, so it's gonna have a good curation of Japanese brands. So I definitely found out a lot about other brands, Orly, APC, like you're gonna find a lot of things like that. And the cool thing is like there is something for everybody. So you'll be able to find cheaper clothes. You may be able to find like old pieces that you have been looking for a while. So personally for me, I was trying to find like a lot of like old Supreme while I was out there, and it's always pretty clutch, especially with Supreme like resale value going down a little bit. Is I was able to find things I was looking for in the past. We're talking about like 2nd Street. One thing I was able to pick up there, I was able to find this old golf wing button up for way below. I used to have this when I was younger. I think I got this for like $70. And then right here we got this old Supreme peacock button up. So I always knew that like just walking into a 2nd Street is very good potential of me finding something like this. And even shoes too. One thing I was able to find were these undercover and Converse Addicts right here at the Bears. I got these for like 100. So I would definitely check out 2nd Street. Matter of fact, I feel like I plan most of my days just finding the city with the 2nd Street, because there's like so many within Tokyo, and even if you go to the Osaka area, so definitely worth checking out. And on a similar note, a store that's just like this that you should definitely check out if you ever come across one is going to be Treasure Factory, TreFacStyle. You'll see it immediately. You'll see the bright yellow sign, and it's just like a 2nd Street. The main difference is, I will say, it seems that Treasure Factory does seem to have more curation with like vintage styles, but does carry a good amount of designer clothing. So that's what it has in common with 2nd Street, and that's what I really liked about. And I'd always check that section just to see what they would have, and usually the prices tend to be pretty good. The one thing I did notice about Treasure Factories is they'd be kind of located in like not the most popular cities. So there's not one in like Shibuya. There is one in like Shimokitazawa and like other sections of Japan, just kind of a little more spread out. So definitely keep your eye out. I believe it's kind of like a partner company with Book Off too. So if you ever see a Book Off, that's also worth checking out. But I can't say it's gonna have the same potential as TreFacStyle. So yeah, I copped multiple things from there. Some of my favorite finds. And pricing always there is like pretty solid, and if you have the tax-free, it's worth checking out. You spend like 5,000 yen and you get it tax-free. So yeah, I was able to find these Capital Century denims there one time in this colorway, and these are actually from like 2013 based off the stamp. 10 years old, crazy. Another pickup I was able to find out there was just these Sakai striped pants. Nothing crazy, but yeah, I got these for like $20. So they do have good prices for designer, and they do have like also just like more sought off after pieces, jewelry, whatever it may be. All right, y'all, the next 2 places I want to shout out, these are going to be stores where if you're trying to find more high-end designers for thrifted prices, or like maybe even like high-end streetwear too, this is going to be the spot. And the place I'm talking about first is Kindle. If you see a Kindle within your vicinity, this is a store that you're gonna want to check out, specifically the ones in like Shibuya or Harajuku, because you never know what you're gonna find, and the curation is usually top tier. You're gonna find Japanese brands like Yoji, Issey-Miyake, Capital, and then there's also American brands there too, so you'll get your classic Supreme, Stussy, whatever you may find. And then there's brands like even beyond that, they're very tapped in. Every time I was there, the pricing definitely does vary, but I did notice that you could be able to find some pretty good deals. So some of the things that I was able to purchase out there, it's this Capital denim trucker jacket right here. I got this for like 20,000 yen, so less than $200. So that was like the low retail. So it's cool to just see Capital out there. And then there's like this indigo shirt. This is really cheap, I think 5,000 yen. And then the next thing I purchased was this Black Means jacket right here, this trucker jacket with all this distressing. And it was one of the few places I saw that had like this brand in stock, so definitely worth checking out. And they even had designer stuff too, Balenciaga, Gucci. So if that's your swag, then definitely worth checking out. Favorite one was probably in Osaka or in Omotesando, so definitely check that one out if you have the chance. I can't stress it enough. I feel like a lot of people love that spot, so yeah. And then after that, the second place I got a shout out, just on the same level as Kindle, but a little bit more rare, is gonna be RAGTAG. And I'm specifically talking about the one in Shibuya and the one in Harajuku. So if we're talking about the one in Harajuku, this is gonna be a 3-floor store building, and it's gonna carry pretty much every brand that you want, and the curation there is really top tier. Brands like a lot of CDG, a lot of Japanese brands, a lot of Yoji. So if that's something you're into, definitely worth checking out. And it seems like they get new items all the time. The Shibuya one is also very good. One of my favorite purchases was actually at the Shibuya one, and I was able to pick up the CDG see-through dunks right here for like 180 yen, so super good price and really good condition too. Alright y'all, and for the next few spots that I want to mention, these are going to be stores that carry a lot of vintage items, vintage t-shirts, vintage garments, pants, they're gonna be more on the more expensive end. Just know, you know how vintage reaches that level. So, but the curation is really good. So that's something to keep in mind. And I guess that's where the trade-off comes in. First place I'm gonna shout out is this place called Laboratory R. This is located in Harajuku, and it's gonna be down this one aisle. You'll notice it's just back-to-back thrifts, and it's gonna be to your right. Kind of looks like a prison cell, but when you walk in, just full of punk t-shirts, a lot of old rock bands, shirts that are beautifully distressed, video game shirts, and it's also one of the few places I know that does sell the brand Black Means. So really cool. You can see the vibe. Thing I was able to pick up while I was out there, I got this Spiral the Dragon shirt. Okay, and then another place also located in Shibuya is this store called Blue Room, and this is gonna be a place that has like pretty much a lot of old streetwear clothing. So I'm talking about vintage Bape, vintage Stussy, vintage Supreme, like stuff with the old tag, and then it has its own curation of just like vintage polo items, like things along those lines, and then just very cool accessories. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. What I was able to purchase out there was this bandana from this store called Geek Out Store. It's a heat thermal bandana, which is pretty cool. And then lastly, the last place I gotta give a shout out to, also located in Harajuku, more in the upper section, is this store called Voss Tokyo. And this is gonna be a store that carries a lot of the archival clothes that you're known to love. So we're talking about the things you see on Instagram, like vintage JPG, Walter, Issey Miyake, Yoji, Y3, anything along those lines. And it's a really nice layout. It's just small, kind of looks like someone's house, but you'll see just like grails lined up along the wall. So worker there is super nice. I definitely check them out. This is what I picked up while I was there, is these MFG pants that kind of got all these like cool linings on it. I think I was able to pick this up for like 150. So yeah, all right y'all, and then the last two spots I want to give a shout out to, these are actually gonna be in Osaka. So it was actually my first time in Osaka, so I did my research, found these spots, and I was pretty blown away about just like the stores, the curation out there. Like everybody knew what they got, and they definitely had some good value, just very fun digging. Yeah, the first store I want to give a shout out to is gonna be Nibunochi, and I believe this store is actually like used to be associated with Pat Market before. I believe it used to be where the old Pat Market location was, but then things happened. I'm not too sure of the lore, let me know in the comments. But curation, crazy. This is gonna be the type of store where anything you see on Instagram, the grails that you see on Grail, like the ones with a bunch of likes that are like way beyond your price value, and you saving up for it, like this place might have it. So just to be able to see a lot of old like stuff in person at the store was very surreal. Workers were super nice. So when you walk in, there's gonna be two stores left and right. It's beautifully color coordinated, and it has brands like JPG, Undercover, Issey Miyake, Walter, pretty much any brand that you can think of. They probably decurate it, and it goes from archive clothing, like clothes older than you, to like a lot more current stuff. And there's even have a good amount of just like low-key Japanese brands you might not have heard of. So that was really cool to see. And so yeah, some of the pickups I was able to get out there is this brand I'd never heard of before. It's called Black Peace Now. It's kind of just like this fringe pants that go all the way. I got these for like 80 bucks, so I thought it was really cool. I got this Black Means sleeveless hoodie. Not really my style, but I kind of just wanted to buy it, and it was like pretty cheap, like 5,000 yen. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. People are super cool. Shout out to you for letting me film, by the way. And then another store also located in Osaka is going to be this place called IRUSE, and pretty much same concept. It's going to be archive clothing, but there is also a lot of women's clothing, and it seems like they do carry a lot of like clothing that they've like knitted themselves or created their own. So it's really cool. If you're really into like Raf Simons, there's a Margiela, there's like good selection over there. So I was really impressed. It's a very like intimate experience too, and really good curation also. I'd definitely check them out, check out their Instagram so you get a good idea of what they might have. This is what I was able to pick up from them. It's this brand called Xander Zell, this pixel button up that I was pretty happy to find out there. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Definitely one of the coolest stores. Workers are super nice, and yeah, I'm sure you might find something. With that said, these are all my favorite places I like to shop. I was in there for a while, so anytime I did see one of these, I'd just circle it back. If it's on 2nd Street, TreFac, whatever. And same with the archive stores too, since they're always restocking. So if you're ever into Tokyo and you're trying to find like designer thrifts, or just like thrift clothing in general, I would for sure check out all the ones I mentioned. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, all that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.